Don't you dare, Michael.
Don't you do it, Mitch. Don't you mess me up on the beginning here.
Uh-oh.
Hey, folks. It's Mitch. It's Mike. It's the Mitch and Mike voiceover journey. And today, we got a special treat for you. We got Miss Courtney Lin in the house. Ah, say hello, Courtney.
Pew, 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 pew.
Courtney.
We don't have that button here.
Yeah, we don't have any
Thank
of
you
those
for-
little sound
thank you
effects.
for
It's okay.
doing that
That's-
for
I know.
us.
That's what I'm here for.
I have the capability of it, but I haven't said any of that because that's just too disc jockey-ish for me. But yeah, Courtney is one of my favorite coaches from the Global Voice Acting Academy.
Samesies.
Yeah, I mean, always have a great time in your workout sessions there, and I always come away with one of the things that I appreciate about Courtney is I will do a script, and she will find some little thing. It's like a lot of people are very broad and general with, you should slow that down or speed it up or whatever. And Courtney finds some little things that says, if you just do this a little bit differently this way. And it's just always mind-blowing to me. So
Can I tell you what I love, Mike?
What do you love?
About after going to a Courtney Lin workout, it's one of those where you go out like skipping because you had so much fun. Like you remember.
Oh, yay.
Yes, it's because you're so playful. Yeah, it's you and Jen are like, it's like, yes, we did it tonight.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I have to say about
agreed. You are a lot of fun. And if you didn't catch on, Courtney and our previous guest, Jennifer Sunbell, who is also a coach with the GVAA, are pretty good buddies. And
Yes.
so we love that because we love both of y'all. So, and we're glad to finally have you on so that you can, tell Jennifer that you were a much better guest than she was.
I will.
Oh,
That's what I'm going to do.
snap.
No, she was great. She was great.
Oh my gosh.
So, Courtney, as we do, we'd like to hear about you. We're done talking. We've done our little 3-minute intro spiel, but we want to hear about you. The listeners are tired of hearing from us, so we want to hear your story. So, the little that we know, you're with GVAA, you're a working voice actress, and but how'd you get your start? Where did all of this I want to be a voiceover actor come from?
Sure. So, it's like it's not like a dream I had since I was little, just because a career in the arts was never presented to me as a career option. So I grew up thinking I was going to be a doctor, probably because I loved helping people and making sick people feel better.
Wow.
And I never really thought critically about any other type of job that could exist out there. But, I was like nerdy in school and I enjoyed the sciences. And in college, I ended up majoring in psychology and neuroscience. And I was also, at the time in college, I was competing, doing competitive hip-hop crew dance competitions.
Wow.
Yeah. World
She's
champs.
a nerd and she does hip-hop dancing.
Right.
Yes.
I'm actually
Wow.
very jealous of that. That's something I've always
That's a
wanted
winning
to do.
combination.
And will never do.
It's a balance. But and I had been doing that for years, and I was doing that in college and just getting my degree and working various campus jobs because I was on scholarship and I needed money. But a couple pivotal things happened around that time. One, I was in a pretty bad accident at one of my dance rehearsals before competition. I basically I just did something, I think from the years of doing dance. I mean, we were doing 40-hour-a-week rehearsals. It was a full-time job that I was not paid for. It was a labor of love. But doing that for years was really hard on my body. And basically something happened in my lower spinal area where one of the discs basically got smashed out of place while I was doing choreography. And I was partially paralyzed after that. And I had had to recover, and I made a full recovery, don't worry. But, then, like, my little pipe dream of, well, if I'm in LA, I can still do some dance, like, sort of died. I was like, this is something I could do for fun, but it's not something I could probably ever take seriously, or, if I don't want to retire at 25, like, I gotta, I gotta figure something else out. So that happened. And then the second thing that happened was I worked at a rat lab in my college with one of the leading neuroscience professors. And
So an actual rat lab.
I worked in a rat
with
lab.
Rats. That's not like code
with
for
live
something.
rats. No.
Wow.
No, I was in a rat lab doing helping with research, and I learned very quickly how much I dislike research. And I was like, well, I can't do this till I'm have to retire. It's so boring. Also, like, I'm a really big animal lover, and like, I understand certain things are necessary for medicine, and I respect the medical community, but I personally just decided I couldn't be a part of it. I couldn't be a participant in it. It was
fair.
too much for me. I love those rats.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I can't do that.
Did
and I
you
was like,
steal
okay.
any of them? Did you bring
I
them
thought
home
about
and
it,
name
but
them
they were all numbered and counted, even though I gave them names. Yeah,
Oh, boy.
I know. Sad time. And so after that, I was like, well, I don't want to do this. And I was like, maybe I should, I could work like with people in medicine instead of doing research trying to find, the cure for whatever. I was like, I can work with people, and I was like, maybe like I could help put people back together. And then I thought long and hard about that, and I was like, well, I don't really like too much blood, so like maybe not trauma. And then I was like, also, like, even the least risky of like the medicines can often result in death, and I was thinking about how, being in a high emotional environment all the time where I wasn't allowed to be emotional, as the doctor, it's like, you have 6 months to live and you have to keep a straight face, but I'd be like, you have 6 months to live, I'm so sorry. Like, I'd be the worst doctor. And I was like, well, I'm 2 months away, not 2 months, I don't know, however many months, a few months away from graduating with my degree. It's not like I'm going to trash the last like 3.5 years. And I was like, so I have this degree, I'm going to graduate with it. I was like, what the heck am I going to do?
You could have become a reanimator, like a Dr. Frankenstein. That would have been cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be chill, as long
Just
as they stayed reanimated and didn't die, because then I'd be a mess.
Right.
That's what got me here in
Yeah.
the first place.
True.
Keep them away from the village people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was
The band.
like, you know what? Why don't I take an acting class? Like, I'm already in LA. I know people do this. And so I went on Groupon, and I found like the cheapest acting class.
Oh my
because
gosh.
I had no money, and I found one that was like affordable, and so I started doing that, and it, the class was okay, but I had a good community of friends that I found in that acting class, and so when I finished college, I already had a little community, in LA. So that transition after graduating was pretty easy. But then I was like, well, I heard that if you want to do this, you have to commit. And so then I was like, I worked every side job I could find that would give me money. So, I was babysitting for multiple families. I was working with a few different nanny agency to do temp nanny work all over LA. I was bartending. I got my a little bartending certificate, started bartending, and I was a tutor, tutoring all subjects, because once again, I am a nerd, and I had to put some of that to use. So I became a tutor. I was still teaching dance classes, but, down to a few hours a week instead of 40 hours a week of unpaid work. But I, developed a private client list, and I started reaching out to schools to teach at schools as well. And I was a personal assistant. I don't know if I already said that. I was a personal assistant.
Jeez.
And so every day was different, because I would basically stack schedule, all my jobs to work back to back. And then every single penny I had would go first towards your essential needs, right? Roof over your head, food, gas. Number 2 was acting classes, right? Because I knew nothing. I knew nobody. I had no skills. I already felt like I was behind because I started late, and I'm starting early 20s is not late.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I was meeting 16-year-old actors who were like, I didn't make it when I was 8 years old, and now I'm, it's a mindset thing. But
Typical.
anyways, yeah. But you meet people like that. But I was so committed, and I was like, you know what? Even if I never make it, right? make it, I was like, at least I'll like die trying, you know, because for me, like when I commit myself to something, I'm like all or nothing. Like we're gonna go balls to the wall. Like I'm gonna do this shit, and I'm gonna do this shit knowing that at least I tried doing the thing I wanted to do rather than, you know, turning away from it. That's always been a really important like philosophy that I had for myself. Like always, if there's something you want to do, just do it because you're gonna die. Like we're all gonna die, you know. So you might as well do the thing you want to do.
Do it because we're gonna die. I'm gonna put
you've
that plaque.
You've had this thought your whole life?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of you. That and the dancing, but wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think my grandpa inspired me a lot because I didn't know him as a child. I didn't meet him till I was 14. I didn't know he existed. But once I did meet him, he like welcomed me into his life with open arms, and he was always very much like, "What are you doing? What do you want to do? You know, life's important. You gotta do it now. You know." And so he was like in my ear too. My grandpa Gary, he's no longer with us, but he's great.
He sounds.
I love you, Grandpa Gary.
Yeah, we love you, Grandpa Gary.
We thank you, Grandpa Gary.
Yes. Yeah. He was like one of the first people I told. You know, I was like, I think I maybe want to like do acting, and his response was, then do it. You should do it. You know, versus other people. You guys
cautionary
probably.
tales, yeah.
It's hard out there.
It's hard.
A lot of
you
people
know.
You have
get
a
to do
backup
it.
plan, young lady.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
hope you like waiting tables. You know, and it's like, you know, and you hear all that, but my grandma was like, no, just like do it. And like for me,
amazing.
like. I also enjoyed all my side jobs, which I'm very lucky because I know sometimes if you get stuck in a side job you hate, it makes the pursuit of an acting career even more difficult because you're not really finding joy in other areas of your life. So I was very lucky to have jobs that I enjoyed, clients I liked, and like a really great community. I think that really made all the difference.
Have you ever hated anything you've done? Because it sounds like, other than tormenting rats.
Yeah, so I mean, like I was babysitting. I enjoy babysitting. There's certain like families I didn't like working with. You know, certain
Right.
children that maybe, you know, if they're like, "Are you available on Sunday?" I'd really think about it. Like, do I want to be available on Sunday? You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, or like I was bartending, doing mostly private events, and so sometimes you'd get great private events, and sometimes you'd get the ones where people treat you like trash and then steal your tips. You know, so it was definitely the gamut, but for the most part, you know, I did like what I did, and also I was like paid in cash for most of my jobs, and so it made saving money a lot easier.
This won't go very far, so the IRS won't track you down. Don't worry.
Okay.
Did you ever
I
like?
mean,
You
I
did so
wasn't-
many things. Did you ever like mix the jobs up and accidentally bring a baby to a bar or something like that?
No. I've always been like, I've always had a planner, and my planner is like my Bible. Like if I write it down and it's in the planner, like it's gonna happen, you know. But a lot of this was also me throwing like spaghetti at the wall because also I was like, I don't know what's gonna work, you know. Like I worked one catering job. I only did like 4 events with them because they couldn't work with my schedule. But for me, I'm like, oh, like it's not me, you know, not being able to work with them. It's like, oh, at least I made money off of 4 events. You know, that's 4 events worth of money I didn't have 4 weeks ago, you know. And so even though that job didn't work out, you know, it didn't really, or like maybe a family, you know, I didn't quite jive with. Oh, there's this one family, like her kid, the kid was like 2 or 3, you know, like was in the bathroom like washing her hands, and she reached over and she grabbed her mom's like foundation, and the foundation spilled, and so like I cleaned it up, whatever, but then the mom was like super pissed after because I guess it was really expensive foundation, and I was basically fired, and I'm like, well, that sucked, but you know, whatever, you know, I'm always like, there'll be something else, you know. I'm always looking for something else, and I would always have like backup plans too, you know. That's why I said like when I'm babysitting for like multiple families, and one family I babysat for them for 10 years. You know, like even into my, I basically babysat them until I couldn't anymore because the kid got too old. But they've always been like really supportive of my acting career, you know, like they thought it was so cool that I wanted to be an actor. And so this is what I mean about like me being lucky with having a lot of these really great jobs. I was also sharing a room with someone for a while. My rent was like $400 a month. You know, which is
That's nice.
Really, yeah. And so when I mean like, you know, living below my means, stacking the cash, and like every penny, like headshots, the casting websites, the classes, all of it is so expensive. You guys know it's really expensive. And this is before on voiceover was in my brain. This was just
You were
on
still trying to be
camera.
on screen.
This is still on camera, yeah. And then I was working on this web series, and I was talking to the DP, and somehow voiceover got brought up. I don't remember how, but he was like, "Have you ever thought about doing it?" And I was like, "Yeah, like I think it'd be really fun, but all of my time and money is going into on camera. Like I cannot fathom somehow having more time and more money to invest into voiceover because they seem like two completely different beasts,
Right.
And he was like, "Oh, well, my mom's a voiceover coach. Do you want me to give you her number?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And this also, like, I have a general philosophy in life when it's like, if an opportunity comes, yes is usually my answer. Especially when I'm exploring all these things, I'm meeting new people. It's like, "Oh, like, do you want to come to this party?" Like, I'm not a big partier. I'm like, yeah, because I think if I think it's an opportunity, I got my first manager that way, just agreeing to go to a premiere party, and then I met someone, and so following my trajectory of yes, called his mom. She had me come audit a couple of classes with her, and it turned out I really liked it. And I looked at my budget, and I was like, well, like if I move some things around, like okay, like I'm gonna commit to start taking voiceover classes. So I started doing voiceover classes and on camera and all the other things that I've been doing, all my shooting, and this is me still doing acting stuff. So I'm shooting web series and student films, and I'm producing my own projects. I'm like, I didn't sleep. But I
can
loved
tell,
it.
yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah, but I loved it so much, and I was like, you know what, like, this is life, like, making it, that's why I always put making it in quotes, because, like, what does that really mean? If I'm already doing the thing I love, then I'm making it, like, it's not necessarily about reaching a certain dollar amount. Like, would I want to be full-time? Yeah, that's, like, the ultimate goal, but, back then, I was like, I'm making it happen, this is good. So I got into the voiceover class, and then I was on one of those casting websites that mostly does on camera, but there was a voiceover audition on it, and so I submitted, and they had me come do a live audition. And it was a very interesting live audition. These people, great people, they had clearly never done anything voiceover related before because they had me audition on a comedy stage. Like they had rented out a comedy little black box place in LA.
Okay.
And they gave me a mic, and they were like, "Okay, so we want you to do the lines, but you have to turn around and do it. Because we don't want to see your face. We just want to hear you." And I was like, okay, this is weird. Sure. Yeah,
like,
okay. Yeah, I was like, you guys are just going to, like, stare at my back. Like, okay. And so they handed me the mic, and I, like, got up on the stage, and I, like, turned around, and I didn't realize the mic was on, but I looked down, and I realized there was, like, cat hair all over my pants, because I had a cat at the time.
Oops.
And I muttered something to myself. I don't remember what I said, because it was just one of those moments, where you're just talking to yourself.
Fucking cat hair, you
Yeah, I said something about the cat hair, and then all of a sudden, one of the producers in the back, like, bursts out laughing. He's like, "Oh, she's funny. I already like her. Oh, you guys, she said we just wanted to look at her ass. Ah, ha, ha, ha." And he was like cracking up, and I was like, that is not what I said. But he was laughing so hard, I was like, ah, ha, 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 like,
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah,
made
that's
that.
Right,
That's
finger
right.
I
gun.
totally just made
Whatever
a joke
you heard is
on
what I
purpose.
said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, I booked the job. It was
Boom.
like $50. It was like a $50 thing, and I was like, okay, cool. It's like I just made $50, And I went back to my voiceover studio I was at the time, and I told my coach, and she was like, "Well, have they sent the contract?" And I was like, "Yeah, they did. I'm cool with it. It's $50." And she was like, "But did you read it?" I was like, "Yeah, I looked it over." And she was like, "Well, did you have your agent read it?" And I was like, "I don't have an agent." And she was like, "Oh, well, I know agents." And then she literally sent the contract to one of her agent friends, and that's how I got my first agent. The agent looked at it, and she was like, "This is a shitty contract, but, go ahead and do the job. Just do it for the experience." And then she just started sending me auditions after that.
Whoa.
Nice.
And that's how I got my first agent. And all of a sudden, I was like in voiceover, and I was like, whoa, like the voiceover door had opened for me in a way that on camera hadn't yet, with how easy it was to get like a really good agent. On camera, I had gone through several agents at this point, and they were not great fits. But for voiceover, I landed this really great agent. I think that made all the difference, because like immediately I started auditioning for like Netflix and Disney Disney and
Whoa.
Nickelodeon and yeah, and I was like, what the heck? Like I can't get any of these for on camera, but like voiceover, they were like, yeah, go ahead and try.
Yeah. Give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's how I got my first agent. But it was still another few years before I really hit my stride. A lot of am I talking too much? I'm probably not
No,
talking
this
too much.
is what it's
Please
about.
stop
We just
talking.
want to hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You guys can interject if you have questions. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I'm
we
just
do.
gonna
I mean, I had. I
motor
mean,
mouth.
like, what time? About what time was this? I mean, you'd been in it, and then you're about to tell us, and then something hit. When was this?
Yeah, so this was like 20 end of 2015, 2016 through.
See, I don't know how
through-
this is
through the
possible
start
because you
of
look like
COVID.
you're 19.
I'm not 19. Thank you.
I didn't look up your age, but
It's because I sound like a child.
Well, and
but
that's
now
good
I make
though
money.
in
Now I make
voiceover.
money doing that. So,
Yes. I do not
but
sound
yeah,
like a
this
child.
was all the way up until the shutdown, the COVID shutdown. Yeah, and it was just me like going hard for five years of like relentless, like constantly working, but doing what I thought I had to do, throwing spaghetti at the wall, all that stuff.
And you're in
and
LA this entire time.
I'm in LA this entire time. Yeah. Living
Where
with
you need to be, where you needed to be at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and being lucky to live with friends and share a room. There were lots of ways I could save money and cut costs, so that I would have money to pursue acting.
Were most
you
of
were
your
there,
friends creatives?
Moist.
Moist?
Most of the work at this point, though, pre-COVID, it was in studio, right? Or did you have a
Yes.
home studio at that point?
No.
Okay.
There was no need for a home studio.
I didn't think so.
I used to go to this one studio. They had a VO and Go service, $10 for 10 minutes, and I would just go in like once or twice a week, and I'd spend maybe like $50 a week, and have all my auditions recorded and edited and sent for me.
Oh,
And I thought that was a steal.
Edited
That sounds-
for you? Man, that must be nice.
that does
Yeah.
sound okay.
And I wasn't auditioning as much as I am now, so it was fine. Like now there'd be no way because I'd be
Right.
there for like hours at a time. But back then it was like perfect. It was like a great balance for me. Yeah, and I booked like a few things. Like I started with my first agent. Like I booked like a Bark Thins commercial, which is what got me into SAG. And I booked like a documentary. Like I was booking here and there, but it wasn't like consistent work. It was always like, oh, surprise, and it'd be like this, oh, $100. Like,
Yeah.
Yay.
yeah, but very sparse
So
up
now,
until this point.
now you're rolling
Yes.
in it. Now
Yes.
everything that comes your way, you're
We try.
slapping out of the.
We try. Some weeks are better than others, but
Yeah.
continuing on, unless there's questions about any of that.
Oh, I did have a question.
Yes.
We're going to go back a little bit. When
Yes.
you were rooming with people and hanging out with people,
Yes.
were they still your friends that were into the sciences and stuff? Or did
No.
you all of a sudden only have a group of like-minded people that...
Those
no,
science people.
I was there was the only actor in the house, and no one else did science. I had
Oh,
one
You were
friend.
one of a kind.
Yeah, everyone was doing something different. At one point, I did live with someone who I went to college with, who later became. She's a manager now. So we are the only two who are in entertainment, but like on different sides. Because I'm an actor,
Okay.
and she's a manager. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So do you
Yeah.
feel that shift... Now I'm guessing you hang out with mostly creatives.
Yeah. Now it's like 90% creatives.
Right. And I'm feeling that too. A lot of my friends are creatives who also live in Canada. I'm not sure why, but do you feel that also changes the way you look at things and approach things? Obviously, you approach things with, I'm going to get this. It's just when. But
Yeah.
does being surrounded by like-minded people help at all?
I think so. I mean, I feel like ever since I started acting, because I found that one little community, right? Like my friend groups have like shifted a little bit over the years, but just being around people who really enjoy the work, and who understand the struggles of being an actor, like always needing to find a reader, or for voiceover, like needing a quiet place to record. Like I remember when I first started voiceover, like I would annoy the heck out of my roommates because I'd be like, well, I need to go into the closet and you guys all need to be quiet for like 45 minutes. And sometimes you get those last minute auditions and I'm recording at like 6. I remember one time I had to record at like 6 in the morning, and it was an audition where I was screaming the whole time, and like I never heard the end of it from my roommate. She was like, what the fuck, Courtney?
That is awesome.
But I don't live with her anymore. So, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, obviously you're not rooming with those people anymore.
No.
What is your situation now?
I bought a house last year.
Yay.
Yeah, I live with my husband, and we have a roommate.
Oh.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Hello,
awesome.
hubby.
Yeah.
Yeah, those hearts are for you.
There's hearts.
Oh,
I didn't know that
cute.
did this.
I don't know. I'm on a
That was
Mac
very
and it
cute.
just started doing that, and I'm like, cool.
I
don't
can't.
get
No,
Nothing.
Yeah.
not at all.
So you're married, and I knew that about you. I think you mentioned that before in a workout. But so tell us a little bit about your husband and how you got to meet him and stuff.
And stuff.
Yeah. We met at a commercial callback that we both booked.
So he's a creative too.
He is.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
No steady income. We're just
No, it's okay. Yeah, we met at a commercial callback, and we booked the commercial together. And that was in 2016. We started dating in 2017.
Okay.
So it's been a while.
So then, is that like your favorite project ever because it sets you up for life with a life partner?
I never thought of it that way. I mean, the commercial itself it's cute. It's real cheesy. But yeah, it definitely changed my life in that respect. Also, the casting director for that commercial, she now casts she works at Nickelodeon, and so I've worked with her multiple times since then because I work a lot with Nickelodeon. So it's a very like full circle moment.
Yeah.
We also lived in the same building at one point, so I was like, whoa, it was fate.
All right. So yeah, here's my suggestion for you for your next anniversary. Don't let your husband see this podcast, but take that whatever commercial you did together, right? And like, get the script like etched on something and like, give it to him as, hey, this is what brought us together.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's adorable. So romantic.
I hope it was a divorce commercial.
Oh, wow. And then Mitch just brought the room right back down.
And that would be hilarious.
No.
Do we cheat him in how?
We
Attorneys at law.
We were playing high school kids, so I don't think divorce commercial would have applied.
That's funny. Does your husband look young also?
He does.
Okay.
Wow. Just some people
Yeah.
are so stinking lucky.
You guys are lucky. So, yeah, working with
I think
Nickelodeon.
I've been gray since I was 16. No.
We believe you.
No. So what is then? You've done a lot. You say you've done a lot for Nickelodeon. And,
I want to hear more about that.
I know
Mike,
you're
let's not
big
press
into
on.
animation stuff. So what's your favorite thing? What's the thing that you're like, I did that, and that's pretty cool.
I am really
This
proud
podcast.
of. Yeah. I am really proud of the work I did on Monster High, just because it was like my first really, really big booking, and I booked it with no credits, which like rarely happens for any sort of series regular thing. Yeah, I don't know. I really identified with the character, and it's real special when I think about it.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah. How many? I'm sorry. I'm trying to. Was that a series?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it
look
was
at
a
it right
series.
now.
That's what I thought. How long did that run?
2 seasons. And then Paramount went bankrupt and canceled a bunch of Nickelodeon shows. So
Doggone
we were
Paramount.
on the chopping block.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my niece and or nephew watched that show and would be freaked out to know that I'm talking to you right now. And I had to. I don't know.
There you go. Get some cred, Mitch. Show this to them.
Yeah,
some
it's not
kid
going to be
cred.
me who gets the credit.
No,
Yeah.
I mean you get a little bit of uncle cred. Like, hey,
Yes.
I spoke to this person who you're really excited about, which kind of
Yes.
some of that excitement maybe will rub off on you.
cred.
You know how I try to do that a lot, and it's me who's excited the whole time. I'm just so pumped. I don't often look at people's IMDb, but Courtney,
Yeah.
whoa.
I
Yeah.
never look at my IMDb. It also like people put stuff on there and like I don't because IMDb is like Wikipedia. So sometimes I do like when I do look at it, I'm like I wasn't in that project, but someone like put me on. And I'm like okay.
Oh.
Or I do a big project that just no one ever adds to IMDb and it's just not there. So I don't know. IMDb is a weird place.
It is
Well,
strange.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to get to the point where I don't look at my IMDb either.
Yeah, that's pretty wild just looking at that stuff. Like, oh, if I play Mario Kart and choose the right character, I might be choosing Courtney Lin's character.
Perhaps.
Woo!
So you never saw yourself doing the arts. Now that you're here and looking back, are you like, yeah, what was I thinking? Like, this is me, or is everything you're doing just you at all times?
I'm not sure I understand.
Too broad of a question.
the
I look
question.
back and I go like, why did I ever try to be a roofer? I know I can't do that. I know I'm in the arts. This makes sense to me. I should have been
Yeah.
pursuing this the whole time.
Well, that's kind of like when I had the realization that I, spent 4 years getting a college degree, like for what, because
Yeah.
I was like, I could have spent that time just taking acting classes if I knew, But I think college, it was, it taught me how to become really great at time management, and scheduling because I was doing so much. I tutored for so long, and that's how I made a lot of my money. And I don't think I would have been able to tutor without my college education, So I was like, oh, in a way, it did help, me launch my acting stuff off the ground. But like now that I'm like super in it, I'm like, I don't. Like if someone was like, "Oh, you can't do acting anymore," I'd be like, "I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do."
Yeah, I definitely feel that.
Well, I
same
don't
thing.
think that will happen. I think you're doing just fine, and unless
Yes.
somehow you sever your vocal cords, I
Right.
think you should be just fine. No one's going to tell you can't act anymore.
Right.
But, so take us to the present. So you got, what else do you do? We know, you do the VO. You've been coaching with GVAA for a little while. Do you do any other? You said you like to help people. Do you do any other things where you're helping other people in the industry, or whatever other side ventures you have?
Yeah. I coach for voiceover and on camera, and a little bit of career coaching too. I do still do on camera work. Voiceover and on camera kind of blew up for me at the same time. So I've been on six TV shows. Which is, for me, I'm really proud of that because, I don't know, the industry's been so bad. Between all the strikes and COVID and everything, on camera, I think, has suffered a lot more than VO has. And so I do that. And then I also train in Krav Maga.
Woo-hoo.
I do that for my physical things now that I don't do as much dance.
Please explain this to me.
Courtney.
What is this?
It's a fighting style, a martial art.
Okay. Is it more grappling or striking or both?
Sort of both, but it's more about like great self-defense. You know,
Okay.
they go over all the main ways you can be attacked and how to sort of get out of those situations.
Kick him in the nuts. That's all you got to
him in the
do.
nuts.
Just kick him in the neck.
Kick him in the nuts.
That's all. You
So
just
it's a
go
good
in there.
one.
Like,
It's a big one.
we
Come back
so
to
we're
that one
not
a lot.
learning anything
Punch him in the
else
throat,
today.
kick him in the nuts, and walk away.
Yeah. I play video games when I'm decompressing.
This is
Listen to audiobooks.
Do you
I like to
find
eat
all...
out.
Who
Well,
doesn't?
Yes.
Yeah.
Too much for me. Do you find all the side characters when you're playing video games and make sure you listen to every storyline, or do you just play
No.
through?
I mean I do the side quests.
Yeah.
But I'm not like one of those people that's like, oh, I have to complete every little thing, because for most games that means you have to grind for something, and I'm like, there's only so much of that I can take.
Yeah.
Before
But are
it
you
becomes
like-
boring?
When you play the games, are you also listening to the VO? And the character works.
Depends on the
and then
game.
What do they call the cut screen? Cut.
For the
Cut
cutscenes,
scene.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll always watch the cutscenes, but it really depends on the game, because some games I don't care, and some games I'm like, oh, it's really good.
Thank you, Courtney. I'm so glad another VO would say that out loud. I feel
I
a weight
don't-
lifted.
I play board games, so they don't talk
Nobody's
to me.
talking.
Yeah, I'd have to talk to myself and be the character myself. So
I watched a little podcast the other day. By the other day, I mean this morning, called One Up Podcast. I
Yes.
believe it's called that, on Colorblind TV or something like that. Can you tell me more about this? I feel like you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. One Up is a podcast that Jennifer Sunbell and I started, similar to you guys. We just talk to people. We talk to people and anyone who works in entertainment. Voice actors. We have a rapper who's coming on. We interviewed someone who does circus for a living. A lot of different writers and directors, and so it's just like a big mosh posh bag of people. But anyone who works in entertainment, basically. And yeah, we interview them, and we were on the Colorblind TV YouTube channel, but I think we're starting our own YouTube channel.
Ooh,
Okay.
Yeah.
cool.
I do have a question about that. Now, your setup is beautiful. And is it
you.
just somebody's living room? Or is there a real
no.
studio?
So Jennifer's family, they have like a commercial building that they own, and so they turned the bottom floor of it into like a shooting space. And so actually a bunch of podcasts shoot there. They just changed the set.
Okay.
And we decorate the set with like our random knick-knack things that we have.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Wow,
Yeah.
very cool.
And the energy is
We're stuck in different
high.
cities, so we got to be, just in
Yeah.
our booths. So.
Right, yeah.
We're small
see.
time.
I see people with more color in their booths, and I get kind of jealous. I was like, I gotta go gray because I'm a serious voice
I
actor.
mean, you could put some lights up if you wanted.
I have them, It's just
Yeah,
now
me
it's a
too.
lot of
I've got-
work,
Yeah.
and
Where
no,
is-
Mike's blurry. So we
Uh-oh.
just
I
can't
leaned
have the
in.
same
I hate it when I
setup.
do that.
Yeah, that's cool. I would definitely say people should watch that. It's fun. You guys are having a blast every time, it seems like.
Yeah.
How do you find your guests?
So some people we reach out to because we know, and then we get a lot of people reaching out to us once they see it because they like the production value, I think. They're like, oh yeah, that looks cool, I want to do it. And so yeah, we shoot like once a month, but we'll shoot like, we'll batch like 3 or 4 guests, 5 guests sometimes at a time.
Oh, okay.
That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
what we
living
should
by
do.
the
Just-
seat
yeah,
of
we're-
our
yeah.
pants, you guys.
Yeah, we were banking a couple episodes, and then we had a few weeks where we couldn't get together, and then it's like, well, we have no more in the can. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one's coming out in 2 days,
Yeah.
everybody.
Ooh.
Ooh. I've run out of questions. Michael,
yes,
are you filled with questions right now?
I just have one more question for you, Courtney. If you could do one thing as a creative, whether it's on camera, behind the mic, directing, anything like that? What's like the one big thing that you're like, not like if I do that, then I've made it, because you don't seem like that type of person, but just like that thing that that you're like that it's kind of out there, and you want to attain that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that changes over because the goalpost moves, right? So before it would have been like, oh, book one job, and then it was like, okay, book a commercial, and then it was like, okay, book a series, and then and then you do it, and then it keeps going. So, career-wise, there's a bunch of like networks I haven't worked with yet. It's like I haven't done anything with Cartoon Network, so like that's like a a company that I'd like to work with. I mean, I've had some things on Toonami, but I think it's just a little different. Even though I think they partner sometimes. But something like that, or sing on a Disney show or a Disney IP. Yeah, like things,
You want it all, is
things
what
like
it sounds
that.
like.
I want to work with everybody.
Yeah, I'm always like, okay, like what's next?
Yeah.
I was the lead, one of the leads on like a really big video game that got canceled, and so I was like, that sucks. But so now it's like, okay, so what other big video game can I book that I can be a lead on? So just things like that.
That sounds great.
We'll keep reaching for the stars.
I agree.
Keep
Yes.
reaching for them stars.
I feel like she's just knows where the stars are at, and
Yeah.
she's just
She's just plucking them out of the sky
It's
one
like,
by one.
there's one.
Yeah, I'm very targeted. I'm like, here are the coordinates. Measure the
I need to get a
wind.
planner.
And I love that about you.
know.
I mean, we talked about that earlier. Just
Like-
your positive vibes. And Mitch had asked a question about, like, do you feel like you shouldn't have done the thing in the past? And
I'm
I feel
sorry,
like,
okay? I just
no,
got
no,
random
no. It was a
questions
good question.
popping on
I'm
my
not,
face,
I'm not
okay, Mike?
dogging on your question. I'm just saying,
Jesus
when
Christ,
you
I'm outta
asked
here.
that question, I just harkened back to the beginning of the conversation where Courtney's like, I did this, and I love doing this, and I love these people, and she just, you just got this overall positive vibe that just rubs off on the rest of us, and it's just super cool. So I think that whatever it is you choose to do, and whatever it is that is in the future for you, you're just gonna love every minute of it. And so that's,
I try. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not to say I don't
Well,
have
and it's a
bad
choice,
days
right?
or hard days.
yeah.
But generally, I'm very much like, well, like if they can try, I can try, and but always keeping it out of the like always remembering that you can try based off the things that you can control. Because I think a lot of people, they're like, oh, like I need to book a job, I need to get an agent, and I'm like, but those aren't things you can really control, right? Like
Right.
depending on the industry, where you are in your career, what that agency's roster is currently like, if they have too many clients, or if they have someone who sounds like you already, or at the job the director hired their niece, which has happened to me before. Like these are things you cannot control. So it's like, okay, what can you control? It's like doing really good work, sending emails, taking classes. Like these are the things that you can control. Making sure you surround yourself with a great community and like really supportive people. I think that's gonna bring you a lot farther. And where
That's
you
a
want to
clip.
go.
I love that. Yeah,
That's a clip.
That's gonna be and cut. Okay,
Every,
right there.
every,
We'll grab
every
that, post
voice
that on the
actor
socials.
needs to. Every creative needs to hear that. It's not about those things you can't force. You can't get in front of you. It's about just focusing on yourself and getting better.
And that's something I've had to learn because I haven't had a lot of success, and it's nice to be able to sit back and go, hey, I'm still having fun doing this. Things may break, things may never break, but as long as I enjoy what I'm doing and I'm satisfied with the effort I'm putting into it, which a lot of times I'm not satisfied with the effort I'm putting into it. I gotta get better at that. But I mean, it's worth continuing. So, so hey, Mitch. Oh, there it is. There's the itch. See, Mitch gets this itch about this time in every show. He gets this itch. He gets this really bad itch.
I want to act, Mike.
He wants to act, and so I think it's time that we need to hit the little pause button and come up
What
with a
happens
little
when we hit the pause button?
Chat GPT doodly doo. That's what I'm calling it from now on.
The doodly do?
Sure.
I like it.
All right.
Coined.
Okay.
It's happening.
It's happening. We're back. We got a little bit of an echo, but we'll work through it. Yeah, we got Courtney for about 7 more minutes. So we are doing this without rehearsing. So this
Ice cold, baby.
Ice cold,
Ice
baby.
cold.
This is called the Sandwich Showdown. So the characters are Tuna, PB, and BLT.
Mm-hmm.
Interior,
Do you get it?
vending machine, night. Flickering fluorescent light. Vending machine hums like a dying robot. Sandwiches are arranged in their coils. PB sits pristine. Tuna looks worried. BLT hangs partly out, stuck and tilted at a 45-degree angle. Another night in this glass prison. Another day closer to mold. I can feel the mayonnaise turning on me.
At least you have mayonnaise. I've got jelly slowly invading my peanut zones. I'm sticky in places I didn't even know I had.
You think you've got problems? I've been halfway out since Tuesday. Some kid tried to shake me loose yesterday, but he just made my bacon soggy with his tears. Actual tears.
Oh, you should be grateful. You're practically free. I haven't seen daylight since spring break.
Honestly, I hope no one picks me. I heard the last guy who bought a sandwich used it as a hockey puck. I'm not cut out for violence, man.
Please, I'm premium artesian bred cherrywood smoked bacon. They try to buy me, but the vending gods have spoken. I'm the chosen one, the one who shall never fall.
No, you're the one who's going to fossilize. We all saw the mold patch creeping up your tomato yesterday.
No.
Don't deny it.
But that was a shadow. An artistic shadow.
People, incoming human, male, beard, looks, snacky.
Oh, this is it. My destiny. He looks sad. Sad people love tuna. It reminds them of their childhood and despair.
Nonsense. He's got bacon face. Look at him. That's a man who craves crispy comfort.
He's buying Skittles.
We die as we lived, wrapped in plastic, under fluorescent shame.
Huh. You guys ever think about what happens after the expiration date?
Nope, I'm immoral now. Mold is my cologne.
Wow.
There we go. We're a bunch of
Actually-
sandwiches.
How was that?
Just sandwiches.
I like the fact that you changed from immortal to immoral, because that fits you better, Mitch.
Yeah, just leave out letters and you got a new word.
Hey, you know what?
Hey,
It's called improvising.
I can tell you that a leg cramp made that whole performance more
Very
realistic.
meta. Very meta of you.
I mean, the BLT probably had a cramp from hanging in the coils there for however long he was. So. Well, hey, Courtney, I know you got to run, but it was a blast having you on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. And
You're
I can't wait
awesome.
till the next time that my schedule actually works out to take another one of your classes.
Awesome. Thank
right.
you guys so much.
You bet. All right. Awkward goodbye.
Oh, yeah, make it awkward.
We'll see you later. We love you. I hate
Cramping
tuna
for real,
fish.
though.